Back when he was in high school, he used to date a girl that went to Crenshaw High. One day, the girl came to him crying, saying she got slapped by a dude from her school. Tyrin immediately went to the situation and wound up fighting 7 rolling 60 Crips on 11th Ave. Multiple eyewitness accounts claim Tyrin left the situation on top, beating up 7 rolling 60 Crip members. Tyrin always handled the drama. Tyrin once had a scuffle with Trey D while at Snoop Dogg's house, which turned into a wrestling.
Yeah, whoa.
Todd-Town family, what's the biz? Y'all already know what it is. Sending them positive vibes and energy to my Todd-Town family. Y'all know how I rock. If you haven't already, please hit that like, share, subscribe, and notification button so you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest content you don't want to miss. Tune in. Anywho, without further ado, welcome to Todd-Town.
Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the life of Tyrin Turner. Tyrin was born on July 17th, 1972. He was raised in a small house on 51st and Hoover in South Central Los Angeles. He lived with his mother, grandmother, and rotating cast of family, friends, and neighbors. His mother had him when she was 15 and was normally out of the house by 7 a.m. for a post office job. His father wasn't in the picture. At age 5, he was taking public transportation by himself. Around this time, he began hanging around dice games. The older kids in the neighborhood gravitated towards him. And when he was 12 years old, he lost his virginity to a 16-year-old girl. Life was moving fast for Tyrin, but somehow he managed to duck the gang life that plagued his neighborhood. One day he was caught stealing a pair of Vans from a department store. He was sent home where his mother threw him in the bathtub, turned on the hot water, and whooped him with an extension cord. That beating redirected his focus and got him back on the right path. He never drank or smoked, and he joined the baseball team after befriending future major leaguer Garrett Anderson. But what Tyrin truly loved was performing, and despite receiving a D in drama class, he decided to become an actor. At 15, his aspirations led him to a workshop where his talent and confidence paid off. His acting teacher discovered he was a natural. TV appearances followed, with guest roles on Jake and the Fat Man, In Living Color, and Hanging with Mr. Cooper. In 1989, Tyrin played the central character in Janet Jackson's long-form music video for her single Rhythm Nation. He followed that up with an America's Most Wanted reenactment in which he portrayed a gang member. He then appeared in Michael Jordan's Playground, a 45-minute subject where Tyrin plays a college player who was upset that he didn't get picked. Shortly after that, he auditioned for, but failed to secure the lead in John Singleton's Boys in the Hood. That part went to Cuba Gooding Jr.,
I didn't know
who
that.
went on to have an Oscar-winning career. His big break came when he landed the role as Kane in Menace to Society.
Classic.
The Hughes brothers had already pre-selected him, but they officially offered him the part over dinner one night at Roscoe's. And Tyrin made a long-lasting impression as his role playing Kane. Kane, the young man at the center of the movie, is not an evil person in the usual sense of the world. He has good nature and quick intelligence, and in another world he might have turned out happy and productive. But he was not raised in a world that allowed that side of his character to develop, and that's the focal point of the film. The film's narration tells us that he's society's nightmare, young, black, and doesn't give a fuck. The tragedy of Kane's life is that he cannot step back a little and get a wider view and see what alternatives are available. By its May 1993 release, Menace to Society was positioned for success. It came in the aftermath of the Rodney King incident, the subsequent LA riots, and the brief gang truce between the Crips and the Bloods. South Central had become nationally known for its violence and gangs. LA-based films from the time such as Colors, Boys in the Hood, South Central, and Deep Cover infiltrated theaters. They were dubbed hood movies. Menace was a critical hit and earned $28 million at the box office. This was considered an extraordinary achievement for an independent release with no stars and an all-black cast in 1993. After Menace to Society, Tyrin's agent Chuck James pushed for mainstream gigs. He was up for the role of Robin in Batman Forever, but lost out to Chris O'Donnell. Roles like that came up but never fell through. He could never lock down the next crucial role. A 4-episode run on Chicago Hope was the best he and Chuck could book, and it didn't help that Tyrin hated to audition. Fame came quickly for him. He thought everything would be handed to him now that he was a star. Another problem Tyrin faced was that he felt returning to hood movies wasn't an option for him, claiming that black American directors wouldn't hire him because of his close ties to the Hughes brothers. and the baggage that came with the character like Kane stifled his career. In the meanwhile, Tyrin was getting into conflict with notable figures in the music industry. In 1996, Tyrin came to fist blows with Napoleon, who was a former rapper from the Outlaws and who was a good friend to the late Tupac Shakur. It originally stemmed from Tyrin's best friend Dalvin from Jodeci finding out that he and Napoleon were messing with the same girl. The two men had an argument on the phone over the female, which resulted in them saying they would fight each other if they crossed paths. So one day, Tyrin receives a phone call from Dalvin saying that he was at the liquor store and that Napoleon was outside. Tyrin then pulled up to the liquor store to provide backup, and when he and Dalvin were leaving the liquor store, they saw Napoleon. Tyrin then gave Napoleon a dirty look and went on his way. Tyrin and Dalvin then headed to the studio, and just so happened that Napoleon showed up to the same studio, and while Tyrin was walking inside, he heard Napoleon make a comment that Tyrin felt was about him. Tyrin turned around and him and Napoleon exchanged punches, with Tyrin getting the best of the fight. Despite taking a loss, Napoleon told his people not to do anything because they had a fair fight, and Tyrin and Napoleon left the fight on respectable terms. But Tyrin was no stranger in getting into physical confrontations. In fact, he was known in the streets for his ability to fight. Back when he was in high school, he used to date a girl that went to Crenshaw High. One day, the girl came to him crying saying she got slapped by a dude from her school. Tyrin immediately went to the situation and wound up fighting 7 Rolling 60 Crips on 11th Ave. Multiple eyewitness accounts claim Tyrin left the situation on top, beating up 7 Rolling 60 Crip members. Tyrin always handled the drama. Tyrin once had a scuffle with Trey D while at Snoop Dogg's house, which turned into a wrestling match. Both men left the place with a mutual respect for each other. Tyrin also had issues with Suge Knight. Shortly after Tupac died, Suge called Tyrin to confront him of allegedly speaking on his name to another female. The conversation ended on bad terms. Suge wound up going to jail shortly after. 10 years later, after Suge is released, him and Tyrin run into each other at the club. Suge pulled up to Tyrin and confronted him while with a group of over 10 Bloods. It resulted in Tyrin standing down, and for the first time in his life he felt like a buster. After he called Jay Prince, who set it up for Tyrin and Suge to have a man-to-man conversation and hash their beef. Tyrin always proved his loyalty to the people he was rolling with during the Shaq and Kobe era. One day Shaq was walking with Tyrin when a man approached Shaq being hostile. Tyrin stepped up and hit the man with the 3-piece combo that knocked him out. The man had to be helped away. Let's rewind to the late 90s. While struggling to secure that next big role, Tyrin attempted to pivot. After he shot a cameo in the video Mary Jane for the rapper Scarface, a light bulb went off. Tyrin came up with the idea to cross over to rapping. He signed to Rap A Lot and adopted Kane as a stage name. Although he never rapped before, he relied on ghostwriters. He took the career change seriously and was in the studio 24/7, but he never gained a foothold with rap fans, and his album was shelved. He then landed the character Rico in the movie Belly, which he openly admitted to trying to sabotage, after the director gave the lead to DMX instead. By the time he returned to Los Angeles, his agent dropped him. Through the years, Tyrin never considered a plan B. He looks at comebacks by established stars like John Travolta for inspiration. Currently, Tyrin is still active in the entertainment industry, and he continues to take on roles in both film and television. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Man, first of all, shout out to Tyrin. Man, absolute classic. I hate to see that he didn't make it as far as he should have after Menace to Society. That movie will forever go down as a classic. I mean, I could still watch that movie to this day. It's unfortunate to see that he didn't really pursue the career that he was sought out to pursue. I definitely didn't know about the rapping career. I didn't know he tried to transition and go to rapping. I don't know, man. I could see why that didn't happen. I can't even see that, I can't even picture that. Him being on film, on the big screen was where he should have kept it. Man, it seemed like his mom giving him that beat and definitely did some type of redirection and helped him out, catapulted him to a career of success. And I mean, you can't hate that. Mom was a young, beautiful woman, strong, obviously. So he had that backing up on him. And like I said, it's just unfortunate that he wasn't able to, take his talents further, And I've always had respect for him. But after watching this, I definitely have more respect for him. I like the heart that he gave. Y'all know me, man. I come from, a line of fighting. So, Not that I condone, that, but I love the heart in the dog, man. That's always appreciative for me. But yeah, man, big ups, man. Tyrin Turner, man. Hopefully he doing his thing, doing some background stuff, man. There's so many ways to get out here and get it, especially with content creation and film. And I always say with a lot of those actors and actresses, when they can't find their way, it's crazy to me how they can't tap into other ways, because they can, man, do so much independent things when it comes to content creation, especially with the name and the notoriety that they have. It's nothing for them to, branch off and start doing their own thing, but I think they just get so caught up in, the motion that's already set in tune, especially with that age. They don't know how to necessarily be diverse, sort of to say. So, but hey, man, anywho, man, I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. Another one, Todd-Town. I want to appreciate all the love and the support. I see everybody out there rocking. I see it. If you haven't already, please hit that like, share, subscribe, and notification button so you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest content. And again, as always, I'm checking out. Peace.
Yeah. Whoa.